Toby, it's April 2nd. April 2nd. Can I go in the snow? Go in the snow. Not February 2nd, April 2nd. Hey guys, today's off the cuff is going to be a rather short one because I only have one example of what we're going to look at. And that is the old ball and chain. Okay? The one I happen to have is the tower's bottom key. And here is the ball. Alright, it says Bishop Hill. Now, the thing is about ball and chains is I'd say 95% of them aren't authentic. The factories of Tower and Bean and a few other companies did make ball and chains. We know this because you can see it in their catalogs, and they came with different weights of the ball and different length chain. You could get one shackle or cuff or two, depending on what you wanted. I just wish I could go back in time and, order a bunch of this stuff from these catalogs in like the 1800s, but I can't. Most of the ball and chains that are out there are not factory made. They were actually added later, by prisons or whatever that wanted to save money. I don't know the whole story. And then in later years, when the collector's market really started to boom, people started just buying up old shackles, old leg irons, and attaching their own weights to them and saying, oh yeah, this is an authentic ball and chain. What makes mine different? Well, I know two things about mine. Number one, it's not from the factory. It's not from the Tower factory. But it does have an awful lot of age to it. The reason I know this is because if you can see the marking on there, it says Bishop Hill. I couldn't figure out what that was, so I did a search and I found an actual place called Bishop Hill. And I contacted the Historical Society there to ask them about the ball and chain. And they said that, yeah, this was an actual foundry. This foundry did make items such as this. They knew for a fact that they made ball and chain restraints for whatever was in that town. So that's how I know that it's an authentic ball and chain. Other than that, the fact that it's right here. It's got the twisted links. They're much newer than the 1860s Tower bottom key cuff that's attached to them. But what I like is this neat swivel attachment. And this weighs about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 pounds. Authentic ball and chains are very difficult to find, but they are still out there, as many of you guys know, because you have them in your collections and I don't. See, if this wasn't stamped and I didn't do the research, this could have been a gate weight, which it's a weight that attaches to people's gates that actually automatically closes it. And in my town, there's a ton of these things laying around. A lot of the gates that you see leading to people's sidewalks actually have weights similar to this attached. And when you open the door, it closes and helps, it swings the door closed again after you open it. So anyway, this is my Bishop Hill Tower's bottom key ball and chain. And I can't believe I forgot to include this when I did the Tower's leg irons. I don't know if you can see, but it says on there 3/4. And on this part of the swivel, there we go. Hammer lock is what I think it says. I do have the papers, the letters of correspondence in my files. When I contacted these people, they were kind of surprised that somebody actually would go through the trouble of asking them about this. I think the guy said on the phone that he's never been asked about prison shackles before, but he was quite aware of this place making this stuff. And you can see here, this is how you know it's also not factory. You can see the little cut where they attach the chain. So yeah, not what we would call factory, but cool nonetheless. Yep, April 2nd.